We appreciate you guys coming in for another episode of Shoes Off Talk.
Amen. All right, all right.
We just felt like we are seeing a lot of things in our own personal lives and things across social media and just in the world in general. So we felt like that was something that we definitely needed to do. Is send up some prayers to the people that we know and the people that we don't know. We just asking God to heal the whole land and touch the hearts and minds of people that are making the decisions about the direction that our life is going to go. We appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm your boy Tim McAfee, and over here on the ones and twos.
Yes, sir. This is your boy Floyd. What's up?
Larvell is out of studio. He's doing some great things in his life, setting himself up and his family and things. And we always want to keep each other encouraged and keep each other lifted up in prayer.
That's right. That's right.
So continue to do that for us all because we all need it, regardless of how it may appear on our outer exterior. Understand that we all have our ways that we deal with things, and a lot of it is not spoken. So lift people up in prayers. If you haven't heard from them in a while, pick up the phone, lift them up in prayer. But today's topic: confidence and insecurities.
Yes, sir.
So that was, I don't know who that doesn't affect.
Oh my gosh,
That affects everyone.
I would think so.
So, my first question is, can you be confident and insecure at the same time?
I would say you can.
In what way? What does that look like? How does being confident and at the same time being insecure, what does that look like? Like, me saying that, what does that look like?
Confident and insecure at the same time. Well, as a person, if you're confident, you're so confident in all the things that you're doing in life, which is good. I mean, don't get me wrong, which is good. You're confident, that's good, But at some point, the insecurity kicks in because your mindset is so full of confidence, and then if you don't get it right, then that insecurity starts to kick in. And it's like, well, you done all these time you done got perfection to your understanding is perfection, but then at the same time it's like, well, if it's not right, then something's not. If it comes short, you like, oh man, that's not right, Then next thing you know, the insecurity starts to come in. If I'm not doing it right, what's going on?
I think the same way. I agree with you. You can be confident and insecure at the same time because I think it's situational. You can be confident about one thing and insecure about other things. That's what, to me, allows both of those things to exist. Typically, we're confident about the things that we understand, the things that we are proficient at. Mm-hmm. The things that we're insecure about are the things that we're not proficient at. The things that we second guess ourselves about. The things that we're unsure about. And I would say that to everybody listening, if there's things that you want to improve on in your life, try the things that make you uncomfortable. Those are the things that I think people get the most insecure about are the things that make them uncomfortable. Because the things that you're good at, you're comfortable with. And I tell people all the time, I cannot operate from a place of comfort. Being comfortable makes me uncomfortable.
Being comfortable makes you
me uncomfortable. Because I know nothing positive happens from a place of comfort. You don't progress. You don't move forward in your life from a place of comfort. And so that's why I say operating from a place of comfort makes me uncomfortable. I have to be pushing the limits of what I think I can do.
Okay.
If I'm not pushing those limits, comfortability sets in, and I feel like, okay, I'm missing something. I don't. It's hard for me to operate from a place of comfort. But yeah, you are absolutely right. Confidence and insecurity can coexist at the same time. Like we said, there's just some things that you're going to be comfortable with, and that's where the confidence comes in. And there's some things you're not going to be comfortable with, and that's where insecurities can sneak in.
Well, like there's a statement that I read about insecurities. Okay, it says our beliefs creates our world, and that applies to our emotions as well. Seeing failure as opportunity is one belief. Changing our belief about the world, ourselves, and how we fit in can also help us discover how to stop being insecure.
That's 100% right. I think the other thing that plays into that as well is our mindsets. Um, we need to work on how we think things. Like I said something the other day is I said I don't what was it? Oh, I was talking about setting goals. I said I don't view it as setting goals. I view as setting standards. And we hit on this the other day. I'm not going to dig into it, but this is when I say change your mindset. That doesn't necessarily mean stop believing what you believe in. It's simply saying change the way you view it or the way you see it.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is when I said I don't think of it as setting goals as it is so much setting a standard, because when you set a standard, you'll reach goals and not even realize that you've reached them. Because when you set a standard,
That's true.
when you
Okay.
set a standard, it's not something that you can see. It's not hey, I know if I take 5 steps, I'll get to that door. But if I say, hey, I need to go to the bathroom, I'm not going to think about getting to the door. I'm going to the bathroom.
Right.
But in the meantime, on my way to the bathroom, what am I going to do? Pass the door.
So, you know, you got to
So
understand.
so that's why I say, like, if we change our mindset, we'll do things and won't even realize what our capabilities are. And that's just like, as a trainer, people think that the body is what you have to overcome when you're trying to reach a goal, whether it's weight loss or look or any. It's not. The body is not what you need to work on. Your mind is what you need to work on, because your body is only going to go as far as your mind lets it.
Right.
Because if your mind tells your body I'm done, guess what's going to happen? Your body is going to stop working.
But then you're saying like if your mindset is saying, okay, I'm going to run the 100, but your body is not able to do that.
Yeah, you have to get your mind to a space to where you understand that if I think it, I can do it. And you could just look at the world. Look at the number. Like you really can't think of nothing in your mind that it hasn't already been done.
Oh yes. Oh, I know that.
And even
Yeah.
even if
Yeah, I
even
know
if
that
they
one.
haven't even if they haven't come out and told us
Uh-huh.
that it's available or that it's done, believe me, it's already done.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
and if we haven't seen it or heard about it, it's because they haven't figured out how to monetize it. That's it in a nutshell. Speaking about confident and insecure, let's flip that. Can you be confident and become insecure?
Can you be confident and become insecure? That's a lot of confidence, because I would say it that way, because if you have so much confidence into whatever you're doing, whatever it is, and like I say, it goes back to you know not being able to succeed. If you don't succeed in something, then that insecurity kicks in.
But you have to have been able to, for you to have confidence initially, you have to have succeeded in it first.
Mm-hmm.
And so, me, where I think how you go from being confident to becoming insecure is one, once again, this is all situational because you can be confident in one aspect in one area of your life and be totally insecure in another aspect of your life.
Okay.
So we have to be able to differentiate, situations. And so even if we're talking about something that you're confident in, so because I use the analogies of sports, the military, and the Bible, because that has been the preface of my life for and fitness for as long as I can remember. So using it from a basketball analogy, if I'm the guy in the state of Arizona, if I'm that guy, like if I'm Mr. Arizona in basketball, I'm confident as heck
Got that
playing.
chip on the shoulder.
I'm I'm Mr. Basketball. Mr. Basketball is a title that they have given to someone who, no matter how you flip the stats and all this person has earned the award of being called Mr. Basketball
But
of Arizona. But this is the point that I'm trying to make. You may be Mr. Basketball in Arizona, but what happens when you play in that all-star game with other Mr. Basketballs of their given state and the competition is higher?
Right.
So I think that's an example that I would use is when you take yourself out of a situation that you're confident in and you control the things that are going on within your circle or within that space.
Okay.
You move into another space to do that same thing. But now you're in that space with other people that are great at what they do.
True.
And so now, if you've never played or been exposed to other people that are on your same level, that can bring about insecurities. Now you're like, okay, well, maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was. And that I've seen that shake a lot of people's confidence is when they're moving around in their given environment, the environment that they feel comfortable in, they have all the confidence in the world. You take them out of that environment and ask them to do the same thing, now it becomes a different situation. And so in my mind, that's what I think of when you go from being confident to insecure.
So how do we like get to a point that if we're confident to a point that goes into insecure, how do we get that insecureness back to the confidence?
Great question. Okay. Using the same analogy is if I'm that Mr. Basketball and I'm Mr. Basketball in Arizona, can't nobody stop me. I'm giving every tournament I play in Arizona, I'm giving people a business. But I go to Vegas, and you got all the teams from around the world there for a jam, which is a big tournament. Mm-hmm. And I played my first game, and I'm playing against the number one team in the tournament. They're from New York. That's not a team that you play on a regular.
Right.
So how can you get your confidence back playing in one game against probably the number one team in the tournament? And how you do that is you stop working out playing in the environment that you're comfortable in and go to environments and practice in uncomfortable environments. That's how, as an athlete in general, coming up in school, you got grade levels. You play freshman or junior varsity or varsity. If you have a desire as a freshman to play varsity, you ain't going to keep playing against freshmen thinking that you're going to get better and prepare you to play on varsity. Okay. You're going to play against older, better guys, and that's going to give you the confidence to move up to that next level. And that's how we have to be in our lives. It's like you cannot operate, and that's why I say I don't operate from a place of comfort, Will. And that's the reason why I don't operate from a place of comfort, Will, because I understand my place of comfort is this big. Where I want to go is this big.
Right. Right.
This is not going to prepare me for this. I got to get to these spaces. I got to get to these spaces to where as I'm growing mentally, physically, and emotionally and spiritually, I'm gradually expanding the space that I'm working in. And so that's how we have to live our life. And that's why I say I don't operate well from a place of comfort, because I know comfort is not my end goal. That's not my end goal. My end goal is way up here. And so I will never get to that point if I keep operating from a space of comfort.
So that's just pretty much telling us, like, okay, if we're going to be in a place of success, we have to get around people who is successful.
Exactly. It's as simple as this. We've all heard this saying: "You hang around with 4 broke friends, you're gonna be the 5th." Look. You hang out with 3 people that smoke, you're eventually gonna light up a cigarette. You hang out with 4 people that drink, you're going to pick up a drink sooner or later. That's just the way it is. You hang out with 4 successful people that are doing better than you. What do you think is gonna happen? That doesn't change.
That drive.
That equation does not change. Yeah. It doesn't change. Will Smith said it best. You're a direct reflection of the 5 people closest to you. Think about them 5 people closest to you. If you can't look at those 5 people that are closest to you and say, hey, they have what I have. They're going where I want to go. They are who I want to be. They know how to get where I want to go. If you can't say that about the people that are closest to you, you need to change your circle.
Okay, now that's a good one, but then you got to look at those people out there that don't have 5 people, 4 people, 3 people. You know, so they might be one of those people that'd be like, okay, they're just to themselves.
You know what that is? Comfort. Comfort. It goes back to comfort. If you don't have people around you that push you to be better, you're operating from a place of comfort.
Yeah.
Because being around people makes you uncomfortable.
Because they always trying to.
I'm a loner. People may not think that, because people are like, Tim, you know everybody. And I probably literally know a million people. When you talk about around the world, around the United States, not literally a million people, but I know a lot of. There's very few people that know more people than I do. But I'm naturally a loner. I love being alone. I love.
Me too.
I love being alone.
Yeah.
But I also know that if I want to get where I want to get in life, I have to have associations that are better than me, that are going where I'm going or been where I want to go, and have the roadmap to get there. Those are the people that I have to come out of my comfort zone of being a loner and say, hey, I'm gonna be at these meetings, I'm gonna be at these different things, and regardless of who's there, I'm gonna be there because somebody is gonna have something that I need to get where I'm going.
But that's the thing though. It's like not a lot of people feel the same way when it comes to having someone like me or someone like somebody else around them like that. Because it's like if I go over here and say, Tyron Matthews, let me hang out with you, because I see your success, I see where you at. Let me bounce, let me get some ideas off you, and let me, see how you do stuff. And he goes and says, well, nah, kid, you can't be around me like that.
Tyron Matthews can't be the last person that you talk to. Like if you allow circumstances and situations to deter you from what you want out of life, um, you're never going to get where you need to be. Even in a no, there's a lesson. Even in a no, there is a yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just think about it. Now Tyrann Matthews knows what you desire to do. You see him again. Have that same confidence. Have that same conversation. Hey, I talked to you a year ago about doing this and this and that. If you can't do it, can you plug me with somebody that you know of? Can't the conversation changes a little bit, but the situation doesn't change.
Right.
You and eventually it's gonna happen. Word gonna get around what you're looking to do, and it may not be Tyrann Matthews. It may not be him. But as long as you're building the confidence up to go to people and ask for help, and let people know what your desire is, the more people you do that, the more people you have out there working for you. Eventually, it's going to come back around, and there's going to be somebody that's going to be willing to take a chance on you. When you look at some of the most successful people in the world, you know how many no's they got before they got to where they were?
Oh, yeah. I know.
These people didn't go to somebody and the first person they talked to told them yes. Like, I mean, we all know like the stories. We know Oprah's story. We know
yeah.
Michael Jordan's story as far as the shots is concerned, or him being not making his varsity basketball team. They all have, I call them failure stories. They all have failure stories.
Right.
But without those failures, they wouldn't be who they are. The difference between us and them is that they figured out how to use their failures as blueprints to their success instead of roadblocks. Because a lot of people, they face failure and they fear it. They'll stop right there. They'll stop right there at that failure. And a lot of times, bro, it's not even their own failure. They will look at it at somebody else who failed and be like, oh, no, I ain't going to try that. Did you see how so-and-so fell flat on their face when they was trying to do that? You see how much money they lost?
And that's the thing that, and that's the same type of scenario that we do when it comes to our kids and stuff. And so it's like we tell them, okay, don't do this, don't do that. I've already went through that. I don't need you to do that. Don't do this. Don't go through that way. Don't go through that door. Don't go through that door. And then they go through the door.
Well, that's the habit that a lot of us parents have. And I said this to somebody, and she's probably listening. I'm sure she is. But the worst thing we can do is try to give our kids everything we didn't have.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the absolute. Not in every situation, but for the most part, the worst thing you can do is try to give your kids everything you didn't have. Along with saying that is if you raise your kids with values and teach them what to value and what's important and what's not important and the appreciation for things, you can do more for your kids than a parent that just giving their kids something without having them understand the value of it. And to understand, she said this to me a friend of mine, when I brought it up, and she's like, I sit my kids down and I tell them, your life is not normal. You're not gonna talk to your friends and they have the accessibility to the things that you have access to. They don't. That shouldn't make you feel overly confident or make you feel like you're all that. You should have a appreciation for even having the ability to have access to that. So don't take it for granted. Now, if you're giving that message to your kids while you're doing things for them and you're teaching them the value of things, then that's understandable. But the majority of us just want to give our kids everything that we didn't get and more.
But see, that's showing them more of the confidence of being, who they are, showing them the way of being confident and without being insecure.
You mean by giving them things or teaching them the value of
teaching
things?
them the value?
Exactly. That is a value that's missing in our kids. Is we have a bunch of kids that's running around here that have a sense of entitlement, like they're supposed to have these things.
Man, come
And
on. That.
not only kids, but we have a lot of adults running
Oh
around
yeah.
here.
Oh yeah. Most definitely.
They a lot of adults are running around here feeling like they're entitled to something. And I saw I think it was Deion Sanders, one of his posts. He This world don't owe you nothing.
Mm-hmm.
This world owes us absolutely nothing, not one thing.
Yeah.
Every time you open your eyes in the morning and you're able to put your feet on the ground, that is your repayment. That is your repayment. This world does not owe you anything. So if you're not willing to get out and work, blood, sweat, and tears, then you're going to miss out on what's yours.
Oh yeah.
And there are people that are sitting around waiting on it to just drop in their lap because they feel like the world owes them something. The world don't owe you nothing.
Don't owe you
Not a
nothing.
thing. Um, can you be overconfident?
Overconfident. I would say so.
What is that called? you,
That
you
is
better-
called.
Soon as it's so funny because I pose. A lot of times we'll come in and I'll pose. Either I'll come up with a topic, or Floyd will come up with a topic, or Larvell will come up with a topic, and we'll just kind of shoot questions across to each other because so we have on our brain how we want to respond to it. So when I asked him this question before we went on air, he immediately was like, "Yeah, that's called conceited." So at what point do you think confidence becomes conceit?
Well, I would say when everything is focused on you. When you're just like me, me, me. It's all about me. I can do this, I can do that. It's all about me. No one can touch me, no one can beat me. It's all about me. I'm the baddest dude up in here. It's all about me.
And that's true because the people with who are really confident, they don't really do a lot of talking. They don't really the truly confident people, they go about their work. You see it in how they move. You see it in how they work. You see it in whatever the action is that we're judging the confidence on. And that's true. When you become conceited, when you start comparing yourself to lesser people, and you start taunting people with your confidence, that is truly when it becomes bad. But I'm gonna go one more better.
Okay.
A lot of times, confident people that come across conceited are really insecure.
Do they know that?
They know it.
Is
They
it-
know it, but I think they get to a point in their life where they go through denial because they initially knew it. But it's like telling a lie. If you tell a lie long enough, you'll believe it.
Right.
That I think that's the same concept with being conceited. It's like you just get to the you have these highs of how you're able to do this, and you're bragging about it, and this and that and this and that. I think you become conceited when you know that there's other aspects in your life that you're insecure about. Like, give you an example. If I'm not good at baseball,
Okay.
I ain't gonna talk trash to you about baseball. I'm gonna talk trash to you about basketball, what I'm good at. And every conversation we have, if we start talking trash, what's my conversation gonna be about? It's gonna be about basketball.
Right.
Start talking about, have somebody in the room that is confident about baseball. Watch how that person shrinks, because that's not something they're good at. That's not something that they're talented at. And so a lot of times, and that's why Deion Sanders said, "Don't let my confidence." You remember what he said?
Vaguely.
It's something to the effect that don't let my confidence basically kind of bring out your insecurities. I don't remember it word for word, but confident people will bring out insecurities in other people.
Yeah, because it's like you're big, you're bad, and if the other person is not as big as bad, then yeah, that insecurity will kick in. You know?
Okay, it that actually was like a segue to the next one. Is insecurities contagious?
It really is. It can be
How?
because it goes back to if you're around five people, and then if that one is insecure, then the other one's gonna be insecure.
That is true. That is true. Um, you very well insecurities are very contagious.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in a place of authority, leadership, power, you can place insecurities, and how you do that, talking about leadership,
Mm-hmm.
is establishing fear. I'm gonna use the biggest example that we have that everybody knows of. How this corporation is not a country that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
We operate. We the people that are in place to make the decisions about our life. They lead from a place of fear. Just think about COVID.
Okay.
We were so confident in how we lived our lives, how our daily lives was. When COVID hit, it gave us all insecurities. The stuff that we would have been willing to stand 10 toes down on, COVID brought out an insecurity like, okay, is my health really how it should be? Am I doing the right things?
Mm-hmm.
And what brings that out is fear. And
Yeah.
and leaders know it's not even leaders because I say this like leaders lead the definition of leaders lead when there's nothing to gain.
Okay.
Rulers lead when there's something to win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we don't and that's what we're missing in our society is that we don't have leaders. We have rulers. And the confusion of how they are ruling us is brought about through fear. I don't care how confident you are.
Mm-hmm.
If I can establish fear in you,
Mm-hmm.
you're insecure.
Hmm.
You're and insecurities. What insecurities do, it makes you second guess everything you do.
Yeah, I can see that.
Just think about COVID. How many times was the world second guessing everything? We were told this one day,
Mm-hmm.
and then next week, oh no, we retract that statement, and it's actually this. Oh, you can't contract COVID from this, and then 2 weeks later, yeah, we found out that you can contract COVID through touch. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
every other week, the narrative was changing,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how our lives are. If you're an insecure person, you allow fear to creep in.
Right.
Once fear creeps in, it kind of spreads through every aspect of your life. You start second guessing everything you do.
Mm-hmm.
How do we combat that? How do we combat insecurities and fear? How do we overcome that?
The only way I can think of is more so of generating a path of knowledge, of understanding.
It took you a long time to say that. I was like, oh, I got the answer, and then you end up saying it in a roundabout way.
You got to prolong it. Make it intense. Make it dramatic.
See, what we have here
Right.
is a failure to communicate. It is absolutely that. It's education. It's. I feel like the more you get educated about life in general,
Okay. Yeah.
the more you become confident and secure in who you are. And that's why I say with kids and adults, but mainly in kids because that's you want to get them in their impressionable ages and state. And so I say it all the time: get kids out and travel, let them see the world. Instead of learning things from a perspective that's not going to give them both sides of it. The best thing that I did in my life was I started traveling. I started seeing how the world lives.
Yeah.
I started familiarizing myself with other people's culture. And when you do that, you understand why other cultures do what they do. And you develop a respect for other people's culture because sitting here and going to our wonderful public school systems, you don't get that knowledge. You don't really get to see how the other half or the rest of the world lives because we're being ruled by fear. They want us to fear other cultures and make them feel like that they're beneath us, they're less than us. And when you actually get out and travel and see how other ethnicities and other cultures live, it gives you a greater understanding.
Right.
And that's education. And once you become educated about what's going on in the world and you start listening, you come back here and you start looking and seeing things on social media, you're like,
yeah, because I mean, I when I had the opportunity to go to London, and I seen how they pretty much live out there and stuff, and the culture out there, it's like I'm like, wow, totally different. It's coming from here to then you going there. I was like, wow.
And you realize the other thing you realize too is having conversations with people from other cultures that are out of this corporation is you start understanding we're not as powerful as we think we are. We're actually like the laughing stock of the world.
And it's come to be proven though, because now look at the currency now.
BRICS.
It's like
that thing with BRICS is a prime example of America is not who we think they are when it comes to this power struggle.
Yeah.
We bullied people. But they're starting to understand that the world is starting to understand that we don't need y'all. Y'all can't even run y'all own country right.
Right, exactly.
Like y'all can't run your own country right. Y'all, we are so divided here in America, and that's why, every time I go out of the country and I come back, I'm just so negative. I'm just so negative because I go to places where people value life. People value some of the things that we take for granted. And what's important to people here is not important to people, abroad.
Right.
And it just that's why give me 3 years. Give me 3 solid years and I'm out of here, bro. I got
look, I'm gonna tell y'all something. It went from 5 to 4. Now it's 3.
It's 3.
It's 3 now.
What's this? This is 2000. This is 2023. 2026. I'm out of here, bro.
Yeah.
Before the end of 2026, I'm out of this country, or corporation. We talk about all of our freedoms, and we have freedom of speech. We have this and we have that. I'm like, we see it on a daily basis that we really truly are not as free as we think we are. Mm-hmm. We're not. And so if I'm going to live like that, I don't mind going to a country that is so-called under the thumb of their government. Because once you touch ground, they give you this piece of paper and tell you what your do's and your don'ts are and what you can and can't do. I'm okay with living like that.
Because already know.
Yeah. How I don't want to live is having to second guess every move that I make in my life and wonder, okay, when is the rug gonna be pulled from under?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I don't. That's not a way to live. That's not a way to live, and we've had the wool pulled over our eyes long enough. I'm gonna tell you one of the biggest signs where you could tell someone is really insecure is overcompensation.
Yes.
Look, if somebody is to the point to where they are trying to shed light on something that has nothing to do with what you are talking to them about, and everything is on 10. You say something, they've done it 10 times better than you.
Yeah.
That's that's an insecure person.
Yeah.
That is an insecure person. And there's no insecurities don't have a look. You can't look at somebody and say you're insecure. Because some of the people that we would look at as attractive,
Okay.
some of the most attractive people in the world are some of the most insecure people in the world.
I can see that. Yeah, I can really see that.
And there's a lot of things that play a part in that. A lot of times they didn't just wake up and just say, hey, I'm going to be insecure. A lot of that is life traumas, things that have happened in their life that have given them insecurities. And so when we approach people with insecurities, we need to approach them with a helping hand and understand that that's something that people can overcome. But the only way that you're going to overcome that is love, is through love. And when we approach it like that, instead of being combative with people that insecure, because insecure people can make you want to put them things on.
Right.
You know, they really can. But you have to understand that insecurities a lot of times come from a place of hurt.
Yeah, I can see that.
And how you combat that is showing love to people. We all have our own. We all deal with some kind of insecurities in our life.
Right.
We do.
Of course.
It's just natural.
You living. You got an insecure. Oh yeah. You know.
Okay. To end this, can a confident person coexist with an insecure person?
I don't see it.
Instagram, what says you? Christy.
I don't see it. A confident person,
Stacy,
and an insecure
Roberta.
person coexisting.
Can a confident person coexist with an insecure person?
Yeah, I don't see that. I don't see that happening. Because if it, well, wait. Okay.
Wait. You don't get to change it up. You already said no.
Wait. I got it.
I know what you're about to say. Go ahead.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
The confident person can always bring that insecure person to another level of being that confident person.
Exactly.
So, yes.
Exactly. Because typically a confident person has patience. Insecure people don't have patience. Right. And so if you're a confident person and you are in a relationship with an insecure person, there is, and not in every case, there is a possibility of a confident person instilling confidence in that person. And how you do it is through communication. You have those uncomfortable conversations with the insecure person, because through those conversations, you're going to find out what made them insecure. Once you find out what made them insecure, you make them comfortable with talking to you about their insecurities. Okay. A lot of times, that's all you need to do. Insecure person is to talk to somebody about what they're insecure about, and through conversations, it's just crazy if you communicate. It's crazy what you'll find out through communication, and it's as simple as this. If I'm talking to you, I'm a confident person, you're an insecure person. You tell me that, okay, I didn't grow up the right way. I grew up in the projects, and so being around wealthy people or what have you, or being in situations where people, have, is something that I'm not comfortable. It's an insecurity of mine. I don't feel comfortable around people like that. Okay, what if I got the same story, but I was able to overcome my insecurity because of somebody reached out and helped me, whether it be they took me to situations that I felt uncomfortable in. And that's ultimately what ends up happening is, like, you have to go back to that situation where you became insecure.
But see, like you said, if somebody came in and helped you get out of that insecureness. So pretty much, if I'm insecure and everything, and the confident and you're confident, but the thing is that I come to you for guidance to help me, but then you say, nah, but not really that. But then you just blow me off.
Mm-hmm.
So how am I supposed to get out of my insecure if if you're so confident and you're not willing to help me?
Well, we're talking about being in situations where you're already in a situation with a confident person and you're an insecure person.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in a situation, if you're in a situation with a confident person that's not willing to help you overcome your insecurities, then you don't need to be with them anyway. Because there's something about their life that they're insecure about if they're not willing to help you with your insecurities. That's how you have to view that. Now, you can't have two insecure people in a relationship together. No. That ain't gonna ever work. No. All y'all gonna do is have insecure babies. But you can't be a confident person and have success dealing with insecure people.
Yeah.
And it's a wonderful thing to see people make that growth and a maturation of coming from a place of being uncomfortable to being able to operate in a place of uncomfortability. And it's as simple as this. How do you overcome your fears? By facing your fears.
Right. Yeah.
It's really just that simple. Mm-hmm. Because one of two things. You're going to be facing your fears will have you do one or two things. You're going to be confident that you can do it, or you'll say, I can do it and I'll never try it again. I say this all the time when I speak to people. You'd rather have a life full of failures than a life full of regrets. Right. All right, y'all. We are going to end the show on that note. This was an amazing topic. Great job, bro.
Thank you.
Good job. Good job.
Right.
Good job. We appreciate all you guys tuning in for the Saturday Shoes Off Talk show. We encourage everybody to go follow us on YouTube at Shoes Off Talk Podcast. We're also on Instagram and Facebook, Shoes Off Talk. Let us hear it. Let us hear the comments, both negative and positive, because that's the only way we're going to be able to grow this thing in the direction that we need to go. And we need them all, the good, the bad, the ugly. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I said, keep everybody lifted up in prayer because we all need it. I don't care how great your life is. We all need prayers. We all need prayers. Right. And lift up those people that can't pray for themselves or that you know of. Let's start going back to the old ways. Pick up the phone and check on your friends. Pick up the phone and check on these people. Stop letting these little dumbass arguments and different things cause a divide, because I'm letting y'all know tomorrow is not promised to any of us. And that's the worst thing in the world, is to allow life and these little dumb arguments come in between people and you never get a chance to get it right, make it right with them. So we appreciate you guys tuning in as how we end all shows. Love, peace, and soul.